tearing up. I'm tearing up over here.
Oh, Josh, come on.
And there's no crying in baseball, especially today on the day that Bob Uecker passed away. But there is crying aloud on all over the place.
Hi, I'm Steve Smith from The Vapors, and you're listening to All Over the Place podcast, where the fun sanity never ends.
Hello, and welcome back to the All Over the Place podcast. I am your host, Eric Pervozic. Jam-packed, awesome show today. So many cool things going on. We have a new special feature going on today, so let's just jump right into it and bring in Jim Culver. Jim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. And just a quick heads up, folks. Jim has some construction going on at the house today, so you might hear a little, but he's going to be muting on that one. We'll get it all figured out. And also, Marty, how are you, my friend?
Doing well.
All right.
Looking forward to
no
this.
construction at Marty's house. So,
no, because I'm sitting in front of the camera.
there you go. All right. And with us today, we've got a great band who's been on the road. It seems like they're on the road constantly, and they're taking some time to join us today. I want to welcome in from the Black Moods, Josh and Chico. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey. Thanks for getting us out of bed.
Spoken like a true rock star in the studio all night. So that's thanks for joining us. And I mentioned you guys are on the road quite a bit, and you're kind of in a little bit of an in-between time right now because you got a new album coming out. So tell us about that and what we can look forward to in 2025.
Oh, well, we've been working on this thing for a couple of years. Yeah, so it's just we get piled 18 or 20 songs. So we've just been going through, and the way we're doing it is we're releasing 2 EPs. One will be out in March, I think middle of March. Yeah, mid-March. And then the second one will be out in the summertime. So our first single comes out on Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah. It's called I Want Your Love. So that's kind of appropriate, I guess. But just working our fingers to the bone. Touring's about to start. We did our first show in Wyoming of the year. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was nice and cold, but we made it through. And we're just gearing up. We actually have a release show in Scottsdale, Arizona on the 14th and 15th of March. Yeah, Talking Stick Resort. So we're just gearing up for all that, and then let the touring begin again.
Gotta love a band that loves staying on the road. And you guys have been on the road with so many great acts all across the country. When you're out there going out on your own, I love that you guys kick it old school. Like you get in the van and you go, just like old touring road hogs, just like back in the good old days. And in this era of just where it's YouTube and social media seems to be playing such a bigger role, breaking bands, what's it like for you guys to be out there just like say kicking it old school, just getting in the van and playing show after show after show? Well,
Luckily, we got a bus now, so I can actually stand up in that thing, because the van can get a little cramped. I think we did our time in the van. We're good on that. But I don't know.
I mean, touring is like if we stay in one place too long, we piss off our girlfriend.
We start going nuts. And we're acclimating to the social media thing. It's a necessary evil nowadays, but it does allow you to get to a broader audience, I guess, easier than just going and touring all the time, But, you can sit in your room all day long and make, anybody can have their own studio and record songs nowadays, but it's a whole different animal being able to actually be a band and play live. That's never going to change, If you suck, you suck. So.
Live music, I can't live without it. And I actually got to see you guys for the first time opening here in Phoenix, opening for Gin Blossoms and Collective Soul. And
oh yeah, that was a fun show.
And one of the cool things I've in my time here in Phoenix, and since that show, the rabid fan base that you guys have here. And what do those fans mean to you? Because they're they're at every show, and they.
Oh, it's everything.
And just a quick shout out here to Kat Ferrio, who hooked me up with my first Black Moods wristband here. So tell us about your relationship with the local fans.
Well, that bracelet there. That's the best business card you could ever make, because we learned that a long time ago. That really helps, because you give somebody a business card and they're, a 12-pack deep and 4 shots, chances are that business card's not going to make it home with them. But you put a bracelet on them and they'll wake up in the morning and be like, who are these assholes or whatever. But yeah, the fans, like Phoenix broke us, at least in a good way. They're great, and
it's like family.
Yeah, it's a whole community that's kind of created, that's been like formed around us. Like when we play, people didn't, there's people that didn't know each other now that hang out and without us
are going to each other's weddings and stuff.
Yeah. And they'll all fly, we'll be playing in Indianapolis and there'll be a group of 10 people from Phoenix that flew out to see us. It's nuts. Or there are, a lot of them are friends with my mom now. It's nuts. It's crazy. But it's really awesome. It's something else, because I moved out here when I was a kid and didn't know anybody. And so to have this kind of a fan base and community around our band is really something else.
Being on the road, you guys did a movie called 500 Days of Silence, which was about, when the pandemic broke in 2020 and what it was like just to not be on the road again. Arizona opened up a lot earlier than other places across the country. And so what was it like for you guys playing here, just being able to keep your chops up and then slowly roll it out and get to those places across the country and bring the live music back to them?
Well, it was a little nerve-wracking because, when you go without being in front of people and playing as much as we do, and, the nerves were there, but I think it was a more like, I think it was, we put that on ourselves a little bit because once we went out on stage again, it was every hair on your body stood up and the crowd, because everybody was so ready for it. And, we could have just completely sucked that night, that first show coming back. But it was, and everybody was still had a good time just because everybody wanted to be out. But, we kind of kept going because during the pandemic, we had our last show. It was like March 14th, actually. And we were in Utah. And that's when our manager called and said, hey, there's a pandemic, you go home, and we're like, what the hell are you talking about? Because we live under a rock, we don't pay attention to anything. And then, so we still kept going though, because we all three are together all the time. And so we slowly would we played, what did we do?
It was Logan, Utah.
Yeah, Logan, Utah was our last show, but then we did, because they still had Sturgis during that thing,
Yeah, bikers don't care.
Bikers don't. Yeah, they're like, who cares? And so we got the offer to play at Sturgis.
No, we don't.
And so it was up for debate. Are we gonna piss everybody off? Is this gonna have a bad, is everybody mad? And we got there, man. It was a blast. And how everybody else, they always wear those damn things anyways when they're riding. So everybody's kind of masked up anyways. Still ugly biker titties out, but who cares? That was great. But that was, we still got to play a couple times during that. The live streams were terrible.
They were more work. It took days to set those up.
That was more nerve-wracking just because the internet feed would go out and
we're also perfectionists, and if it didn't sound right, we rehearsed and then did a 30-minute stream, but we had to get a hold of our fans and people that actually needed.
Yeah, they were going nuts
sort of
in their house. Yeah. But when it started gradually opening up because we were in the Midwest back home because I'm from the Ozarks, so we spent a lot of time there, and we were we made a record during that time. So about the time we got done with the record is when we came back to Phoenix and started going into studios and doing the live streams. And then it was like, oh, well, this place will have you, and then so we started doing, Sturgis and whatever else. There's a couple other in there, and then so it was a gradual, come around that we made. But
yeah, it was tough. All of us were feeling it, and just not being able to, the energy that we get from playing on stage from the people, that's what keeps us going.
Our sound guy. When we do the live streams, because there'd be nobody in the audience, so after you get done playing a song, you need that back and forth, and so he'd hit a button and you just hear crickets, chirping at us. Yeah. So
well, you didn't do like with the baseball teams. You had like little placards of people out there in the audience for you.
We should have, but man, we just put our blow up dolls out there.
Which brings us back to the girlfriends being upset about something. So
yeah. We don't know why.
So I just last week I just watched the movie, and I gotta say that was brilliant.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Really enjoyed it. And I thought, I was thinking to myself, like, this is top quality documentary. This isn't just some YouTube guy making a video, which is fine, but this was well produced and it looked expensive. And I thought, well, so how does a band like you guys, and I know there was other people involved, but I mean, let's face it, you're not a big band like,
we're not U2
like Corey and the Angels or whatever, those hot shots. And
well, it's Jeremy Simmons is who did it, like the director. He's the brains behind all that whole operation and really put it together. And he just reached out. He just kind of just threw a bunch of names against the wall. And Sammy was one of the first guys. Sammy Hagar was one of the first guys to hit back, and was like, absolutely. And then, of course, Michael and the rest of the guys from Sammy's band. But then Corey Taylor's, because we've met Corey a couple times, and Rick Springfield's the one that threw me. I was like, holy shit, Rick Springfield, who else?
Yeah.
Wow. But I think him and Sammy share a manager. Excuse me. And then, but it really just came that our label got behind it, and so Jeremy helped him, like he would just fly to these places and go interview these guys.
Yeah, it was really Jeremy. He was the mastermind behind everything. He's like, hey, can I jump on tour with you guys? Yeah, sure.
It originally, can you drive? It originally started about just how the pandemic was affecting the Phoenix music scene and entertainment, and then we wound up we had a hit during the pandemic with Sunshine, and so he's like, well, it's all kind of shifted more around us, and how a baby band like ourselves, it makes it, how we do, as well as how a bigger band like Slipknot or Sammy Hagar, how the big dogs survived, and how the hell are us little dogs gonna get by, so it was great. It was all him.
Yeah, that was all Jeremy. We're shooting a video for "I Want Your Love," which is the next single with him. He's gonna do the next video.
And him and another videographer, a friend of ours, David Major. They both did. We released Roadhouse Blues with Robbie Krieger. We recut that with him for the Doors' 50th anniversary or something like that. And Jeremy, they shot that video as well.
Yeah, that was it had a little bit of I was making a stupid joke about Corey and the Angels. Corey Feldman, Corey, you've seen Corey Feldman with his band.
Oh yeah, he's the shredder.
This really, he's amazing. This really, it had a little bit of a flavor of Almost Famous. This band that's struggling, and now they're starting to get some traction. And although the backdrop was the pandemic, it was cool to see, what a more average band, some band that hasn't sold 100 million albums, because those guys don't care about money; they got plenty.
Right.
And I really liked that Sammy really wasn't. He was like, I just like playing. I like doing this, and I thought it was done really well. And you guys are, shit. You guys are the quintessential on the road, rock band, like Eric was referring to, and it was cool to see. Really, really good. And I got to say, I'm new to your music, but fantastic, man. Just
thank you very much.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I remember, like, the Foo Fighters, like, that was like kind of the last big rock band, because everything was going in other directions, and with hip hop and all the other stuff. And it's really great to see bands like you guys who are actually talented and actually making really good music. I mean, man, I think you guys are great. And by the way, on that note, are you guys coming to California on this tour?
We actually have. We are in negotiations with a tour right now that's on the table that we just got a call about. So if that's the case, we'll be in California in March. By the way, where at in California are you? Are you safe and sound from all the
Yeah,
fires?
yeah. I'm about 40 or so miles from the main fires, but we did have some power outages because they didn't want to. There's high winds. They didn't want to start more fires, so they just shut us off, which was.
Wow, that's crazy.
But
Yeah, we
fire up the generator. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, I got it.
But thank you for asking. Everything's cool here.
Good. Yeah, we have a lot of buddies and stuff, and I mean, the Grammys are coming up too. They're going to push those things back, I think, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to. That's
That, or I think it would be a great time to step up and say, you know, we're still strong, and they could turn it into an extra benefit to the concert that's coming up.
Yeah.
But that's just Eric, the promoter, thinking things that never happen. So, yeah. But now you guys mentioned going back to Indianapolis a lot and been touring in the Midwest and everything. And we have for the first time here a special surprise here on All Over the Place from Indianapolis by way of New Mexico. Please welcome Super Black Moods fan Dana Pappas. Hi, Dana. Welcome back.
What's going on?
I just sent you a guitar.
You did what?
I just mailed you a guitar out.
I'm so excited. Like, that's the best Christmas, birthday, Easter, 4th of July. I mean, everything. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. We're just I fly home on Sunday to go see the family, and him and I have been in the studio. We're just sweating out booze today. We've been burning it at both ends. So yeah,
Awesome.
having fun. Yeah, until we wake up in the morning and they're like, why do we do that to ourselves?
This is such a bad idea. Yeah, so my buddy Eric was like, hey, I'm going to have Josh and Chico on. Do you want to surprise them? I was like, heck yeah. So we're all in this podcast business now. And I heard Marty talking about being relatively new to your music. I am not relatively new to your music, but you guys know how I feel about you, and so excited about the new album coming out. And I'll be in Phoenix with Ed for the release party in March, so we can't wait to see you in person.
You're going to be here? I finally get to party with you and Ed?
Yes, we will get there. Tickets purchased, hotel room booked.
2 nights, not just one, but 2 nights.
2 nights. So we're there. And so if you know Ed, he hates traveling. So the love he has for the Black Moods is evident by the fact that he's getting on a plane and flying all the way to Phoenix from Indy. So we're looking forward to it.
That's gonna be fun. That's awesome news.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's good here. How's it on your end?
Good. I'm actually in New Mexico right now. So there's a baseball umpires camp that I'm speaking at tomorrow night. So I'm a little closer to you guys than usual. Wasn't sad to escape the 3 below zero that I left yesterday morning when I got on my plane. So
I saw that.
A little warmer here. My parents think it's freezing, but I'm like, no, it's not. There's no dash before the number in this temperature, so I think we're in good shape. So, good.
And a word that we hate back in the Midwest that you never hear out here, there's no wind chill.
Yes. It feels like temperature.
Yeah, it feels like, yeah. We were just talking about that. It's like, why? It's like,
If it's 40 feels like 15.
15. You're like, okay.
And just call it 15.
Yeah. God, who cares?
Why are you trying to inflate it? Something that isn't.
The majority of people on their screen right now, folks, live in Arizona or actually Marty in a warm weather climate as well. So yeah, there's sorry, Jim, and Dana, you've got at least you got a good gig out there in Indianapolis.
The best gig. It's awesome.
Yeah. And before I get in, there's a question there, the melding, the coming together of you two, and actually you two as in the band, and you, Dana. But really quickly, tell us, you threw it in Marty's face, you threw some shade at him. You've been a Black Moods fan forever. How did you discover them, and what made you a huge Black Moods fan?
Really, the first time we saw them was at Circus Mexicus in Puerto Penasco a few years ago, and just fell in love with their music immediately, and then kind of got to know them as people. And that was when it was like, yeah, whatever they're selling, we're buying, and just huge supporters of not only the band, but of Chico, Josh, and Jordan as human beings. They're some of the best people you'll ever know. So I think that, listening to their music and just loving their sound and, being excited every time a new song drops is one thing, but then really getting to know them as friends and hanging out with them a little bit and being able to just support them and really cheer for them, because a lot of music you listen to, you don't have a personal tie with. But I think that's what makes us all so crazed as Black Moods fans, is the fact that they're so approachable. They love their fan base. It's really special. So what's been cool is moving to the Midwest, there's this whole Black Moods family, and Kent McWhirter, I'll give him a shout out. He's kind of at the hub of that and has really kind of tied us in with the Black Moods on a more personal level. And it's just so cool being able to go to their shows. And there's just this group of people who we all have this crazy passion for them and their music. And it's like a reunion every time we go to a show. So I think that the first time we saw them live, they're special. Like, they're just so engaging with their fans, even when they're performing. But then you get to give them a hug and shake their hands and get to know them as people, and you're like, how can we support you? And that's been the coolest thing, is just trying to figure out, okay, get a new t-shirt out, because we need to buy some merch. Like, what else can we do? What else can we buy? Because we just want to see these guys succeed. And it's been cool over the years to see them grow and see some of the different places they've gotten to perform, and performing with ZZ Top and doing some of that stuff with some of those legends has been really a cool journey as a fan, to see that and just kind of cheer for them from afar. So that's been a lot of fun for us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
I'm tearing up over here.
Oh, Josh, come on.
And there's no crying in baseball, especially today on the day that Bob Uecker passed away. But there is crying aloud on all over the place. And I had it up there on Dana is she mentioned her podcast, and she's now host of From A to Zebra, and she's the director of officiating for the National Federation of High School Sports and Activities. But you guys provide music for that show. And how did Dana come to you? And how did you guys determine which song you're going to use? Is that something that Dana picked, or did you pick? And just tell us how it came about.
Well, she had a gun.
Shh, Josh, that's supposed to say that. Wow.
She no, you can ask her that, because we just were glad that she wanted to use it. We still have to do yours too, by the way.
Yeah, so we were at a show in Chicago and wanted to say goodbye to them. And while we were talking to them, of course, as they're loading up the bus, I just mentioned that we had this podcast and asked if we could use some lead-in, intro, outro music from them. And they were absolutely, just do what you got to do. Ed actually is the one who picked which songs were going to go on. So he's my husband / producer. So with the Black Moods, the thing is, you can't miss. Any song that we use is going to be awesome. So I told Ed, whatever you want to do. And he picked the ones that he liked, which was fine, because, I mean, honestly, driving into work every day, it's Black Moods. Coming home from work every day, it's Black Moods. It's all I listen to. So awesome. People get in my car and they're like, is there any other music? And I'm like, not actually. Like, get in a different car if you want to hear something else. So it's been we're huge live music fans, but do we play favorites? Absolutely. And Black Moods are our favorite. So Ed's got the tattoo to prove it. I haven't gone that far yet, but he's got the ink. So
that's awesome.
I told you at the beginning of the show, folks, Black Moods fans are hardcore. They are rabid fans, and for a reason. So yeah, and case in point, I'm so glad we were able to involve you, Dana. And we typically wait till the end of the show for this, but I'm going to ask right now, because I've got a couple of different ways to go. I want to ask you, both you, Josh and Chico, separately, and then Dana, I'm going to go first with you. What 3 Black Moods songs would you pick to make someone a Black Moods fan, to get them on that road to becoming and getting potentially where you are? 3 songs from their vast catalog.
So my favorites, Fire and Gasoline is my number one favorite. And that was something that came about kind of in my drives to and from work. It was one that I would play it, and then I would play it again, and then I would play it again, because I just couldn't get enough of it. So Fire and Gasoline, Whenever It Rains has been my longtime favorite. And then probably something that, gosh, it's so hard to pick. If Belladonna is great from a crowd participation standpoint, I think that that's always a fun one, because especially if it's somebody new to the band and they don't know the song, it's not that hard to be like, okay, you say Belladonna, and then we'll all sing together. So that's kind of fun. But I'm a huge fan of Fire and Gasoline. I think it's underrated, but it's definitely my number one favorite. I love Heaven is great. That just, that's relatively new. So I don't know. I could give you a long list, but that's kind of, I went with my two favorites, then like the crowd participation favorite.
Oh, in honor of the 2 EPs coming out later this year, I should have said 5 songs each. So, I mean, there we go. And I think you did that. So now, Josh and Chico, from your perspective, what are the 3 to 5 songs that you guys would pick to get people on the road to becoming Black Moose fanatics?
I would say, because like, I don't know, if you've never heard the band before, I think Belladonna is a good representation of just the bare bones rock band that we are. And then Sunshine, I think, is because that's probably our, people seem to really enjoy that, and I like it a lot too. It's really catchy. But then, I don't know, Sugar or Heaven, one of the new ones. Probably.
Yeah. I would say I Want Your Love, because that one's coming out, and we've been playing it live for the past 6 months maybe, and nobody knows it because it's not out. But so when we're done with it, just the crowd response,
you can just see everybody being like, "Holy shit, what
the
is
hell is that?" Yeah, so that I Want Your Love would probably be one of them. Belladonna, yeah, I'm with that one. And what else did I think? Oh, leading you on.
Oh,
Lead Me On. Yeah,
Yes.
that one's a good one. We never play that live.
Yeah.
Why don't we play that song?
Well, the thing, our deal is like, we have the, you play the hits, and then we start, we have a catalog now. We've got a few records out, 4 or something like that, and then so getting to all the new songs, because there's not a lot of rehearsal time on the road, and that's where we're at most of the time, is on the road. So we're gonna work some new songs into the new set when we're coming out this year. So it'll be good.
I think another one of my favorites is The Cure. And that was one that's, it's not super upbeat, but the lyrics are fantastic. That's such a great song. And Chico, talking about Leading Me On, you guys played it live once that we've seen you, and it on the set list, because we got the set list, we couldn't read it. And we were like, why does it say meow? And we were like, they don't sing a song with a cat. We were so confused. And finally, one day we're sitting at home listening to your music and Leading Me On. We're like, oh, that's Me On. So for now, every time we hear the song, we sing Leading Meow, just so you know. We change the lyrics that matches up with the list.
We do that with a lot of our set lists too, like write meow anywhere. We try to work meowing as much as we can. It's like,
I like it.
We like the Broken Lizard guys a lot. So like,
you're super trooper in it there. I love it.
Yeah, any movie they put out, we quote the shit out of that thing. So.
Yeah. Word fun.
And I'm going to add a couple in there. My 2 favorites are On and What You Got.
Yeah, those are rockers.
Yeah, those are really fun to play.
Yeah.
I had a feeling the drummer would like those contributions.
Yeah, those usually always make the set list.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of drummers, Jim, I'm going to throw the ball over to you now for maybe something for Chico and/or Josh.
Well, yeah, I'd like to talk a little more about the 500 Days movie. So, what's the, obviously it's kind of a hot button topic even now to talk about the pandemic, but what's the response been like from those that have seen the movie? Have you, has it been mostly positive, a little bit of controversy maybe? What's the response you're getting back like?
I've not heard anything bad really, which is kind of shocking, but I'm also not one for reading comments online and that kind of thing. I'm a sensitive soul, I have feelings. So but I mean, as far as the people we've talked to, we've done a couple dinner and a movie night kind of things there, that we've like Harkins has showed it,
yeah, like a red carpet type thing. We've done those in Springfield,
Missouri. Yeah, we did. I think we done one there, and we did one in Scottsdale. And then when it came out, it debuted at the Phoenix Film Festival, and it sold out they like standing ovation did and all this kind of stuff. So we weren't there.
Awesome.
We were in a parking lot at Hooters and somewhere in the Midwest in Cincinnati. So we called in while we were sitting at the Hooters parking lot after they watched the show, and it was
we did a FaceTime and got a standing out on the phone. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was cool. So it's been great feedback, and again, I think it's really cool how it shows like the super successful bands, and then guys like us that aren't, and so people yeah, and it's really I don't know. I think everybody could kind of, because it's kind of sad in parts that when you go back and watch it again, I was like, shit, that's sad, but so I think people connected with it a lot, even and they got to see what it was like, because like we weren't essential in that kind of aspect. So you had like the people that were in the hospitals and like doing all that shit, and so they got to kind of I hope that it gave them a break to see kind of what we were dealing with, and there's like a little more of an entertainment side of things instead of just the stress that came out of what they were dealing with. So, but all good, 5 stars all around.
Well, I hope more people see it, because that's a conversation that we need to keep having for sure.
Yeah. And you said it was kind of sad, but really it kind of followed the pattern of a movie that you would have wrote, because it was kind of had an arc, but the arc was kind of reversed. And it was deep into the pandemic. What are we going to do? And by the end, you're going out in front of crowds again, and you're doing the thing, and that was really cool.
We were a little worried that it was going to come out and people were so sick of it, of the pandemic, that they'd be like, this, nobody wants to hear about this shit again. But it's been quite the opposite, from the reactions we've been getting. So that's good.
And I definitely love the documentary. It gave me a deeper appreciation for you guys, because whether it's Kat, who has told me about the band for years, Dana has certainly been an influence on me, getting me into more of your guys' music. But this is not a knock on any of the bands or any of the subject matter in it, but because we did what we did at the time, and how in reacting to the pandemic. But to me, it just pissed me off all the more that we had live music taken from us. And this is from a fan. You guys are the band up there, and it's in my soul. It's because of guys like you who give us live music. And for me, it's just like, we allowed to be pushed around by this stuff. And do you ever look back at it in that time, especially while you're making the movie, and think, what, knowing what we know now, should we have pushed back a little bit more? Should we have played some more? Should we have just gone against the grain to be a little bit more rock and roll about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did that sometimes. That's why we were like, our label and our management, because we were just like, this is bullshit. Like.
I mean, yeah, that's why we did the live streams, even though it was extreme work and difficult, and everybody's scared of each other, but we still did it. And this is all we do. We don't clock in or anything. This is my best friend, and we live together, and we play music together. And when the rug was taken out from under us, we're like, okay, so we're still gonna play music together. If there's gonna be 1,000 people in front of us, or you.
Yeah.
So we just we had to. So yeah, did we push? I think what we did was the correct thing to do, because we're still bringing music to people, even doing those live streams and all that kind of stuff. Of course, did we want to play? Yeah, but that was a scary time, when it happened.
The people were scarier than the actual pandemic, I think.
Yeah.
The way everybody was reacting and stuff. You're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, especially when you live in a bubble like we were on tour, and then manager's like, hey, you got to come home. Why? Because there's a pandemic. What the hell's a pandemic?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I remember going into this because we were on our drive. We were driving back, and after we got the call, and they're like, you should probably grab some water or toilet paper, whatever the hell they were saying. And we're like, what the shit are you talking about? And so I went into the store where we were getting gas, and it was like it felt like 28 days later, you know, or some crazy zombie
Yeah.
movie. Look around and the shelves are empty and people are kind of staring at, like, what few people were in there were like looking at each other all weird and shit. You're just like, ugh, it was creepy as shit. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well,
but I think we did. Like I said, I think we did well with what we did because we have to keep playing. No matter what happens, that's
Yeah.
what brings joy to us, and luckily, other people like it.
And as a fan, those live streams, those saved us. Like it was something that we looked forward to when we knew they were coming. We had them on our calendar. There wasn't anything else on our calendar, so it was pretty easy to remember at the time. But those were the things that we looked forward to in a time that everything was uncertain and we didn't have a lot to bring us joy. Those were the things that we were like, oh, Black Moods have a live stream on Friday night. And it got to where we were having these couch concerts where we'd sit on the couch and be on the live stream and, get DoorDash something because that was your only option really. So
Right,
it was, but those live streams for those of us who are such live music fans, that's what kept us connected. And really, I mean, we already loved you guys, but that made us kind of fall in love with your music and you even more because you're providing that for us. You're giving us that solace in a time that was just really difficult emotionally and people were depressed, and it was just a way to kind of disconnect from the reality and be like, oh, we get to listen to our guys again. And that was, I mean, as a fan, that was a really special experience that probably not enough of us thanked you for. So thank you for that because it was
Oh man. Well, we like I said, we were glad to do it, as strange as they were. And then, but that was, and I will say this for that time and doing those live streams, because you got like on tour, to get to the Indianapolis crowd, you got to go to Indianapolis or to go to Panama City or New York or whatever it is. But when we did those live streams, everybody from everywhere was tuned into that thing. So that was kind of a cool vibe to have, to be able to reach everybody at one time and not have to drive, from California to New York, and to hit everybody like that. So that did have its benefits in that area.
Yeah, and the comments from people, because I even now I'll go back and review them again just to see and to remember. But the responses that we got were fantastic. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Dana, since you and Ed are it's not even competition. You blow me away in terms of concert, but we're fellow setlist.fm and tracking our concerts. Because I did the Lucero live streams that they put up their block parties the 2 nights. I include that on my setlist.fm. Do you include the Black Mood shows? I hope you do on your concert travels. We
do. We have it as kind of a side list. So we have our live shows and then we have our couch concerts, which there were a lot of them. So it was, they definitely count because it was the only way we could see live music at that point. So, and it was like Chico was saying, going back and looking at those comments, I remember how cool it was because all of us that were watching the live shows were talking back and forth to each other. And it gave us that sense of connectivity in a time that there wasn't a lot. So I think that's part of the reason why the Black Moods family is so strong, because it was like we went through that together because of the band. We were able to stay connected and kind of, say hello to each other and give that virtual hug in a time that we just were craving human interaction. So it was really cool, really special.
That's awesome.
And as the professional Catholic who can rationalize anything, I say don't make a separate list. Make it all one big part of the list. They all count.
My OCD kind of it does things, so I have spreadsheets and systems for everything. So that's how my brain works.
I'm not going to argue with that. Again, the libertarian in me, do what you want. It's all good.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to count mine though. But I want to get back to the bands that you've shared the stage with through the years. I mean, I've got the ticker going across right now for those who are watching on YouTube. But you guys are out there. You're open for all these great bands. And do you ever just look at the three of you on the stage, just like, holy shit, we're in a rock band. We're where we want to be.
Oh yeah, especially like she mentioned, like ZZ Top. We're a 3-piece, and we love ZZ Top. They're just like, they feel like more like uncles because they've always been around since I was born. Like, they always listen to those guys. My dad always listened to those guys. So when we did that, and that was that was our first arena show, I think.
Mhm.
And that was a trip, man. I'm telling you what, you're just like, holy shit, are we playing arena opening up for ZZ Top right now?
I was literally in my dressing room because arena, we all had our own dressing rooms, and I was crying.
Yeah, like, oh my
Right
God.
before I went on stage, I was like, I cannot believe I'm going to do this in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it was insane. So yeah, and then like, you know, and just when you look over and you get to see some of your favorite bands that you grew up listening to standing on the side of the stage watching you, you're like, it's just something else.
Yeah.
That's a drug you can't buy. That's for sure.
Yeah, we opened up for Scott Stapp in Wisconsin Dells last summer.
Yeah.
And
For the Creed reunion and all that.
Yeah, and I just remember I'm sitting there playing my drums. I look over and there's Scott, and he's just
Rocking out.
We're like,
oh my
yeah,
gosh, man.
this is awesome.
Yeah, crazy cool.
Live music, folks. I've said it before on the show. I will say it numerous times. There is no substitute, none whatsoever.
Amen.
Agreed.
And when did you guys realize? You mentioned Josh, your dad listened to ZZ Top, and just when did you realize that I'm a musician? This is what I'm going to do. And Chico, the same to you.
Oh man, since my mom's water broke at one of my dad's gigs with me, so like, you know, my dad's band. That was the holy grail. I just thought that's why I got into it, because I just thought it was the coolest thing. You got these four guys. I got it at an early age, and so I knew that's all I wanted to do since I was 2. I was on stage at 2 years old with my dad's band playing a Scooby-Doo guitar that my mom would restring with fishing line when the strings broke, because she got sick of buying new plastic guitars for me every time I break a string. So there's video, you know, VHS tapes of me up there with them. Like, she never had to worry about me running around. Like, you know, you'd go to they played like these outdoor things, and in the Midwest, they were big regionally, and they would play all these things, and all these little kids are running around like hellions and shit, and she'd always know where I was. I'd be right there on the stage by my uncle and my dad, just, you know, nothing's coming out, but I'd sit there and play the whole set. You know, that's just always been in me.
I think for me, I was 9 or 10, and there's a roller rink out here called Rolero. I don't know if it's there anymore, but me and my buddies would go, and I never roller skated because I'm like, I'm not gonna break an ankle. That's stupid. But Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana came on the jukebox or whatever, and I froze. I'm like, what is this? And then I just started getting into Nirvana, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to play music. But yeah, Nirvana really had a lot to do when I was like 9 or 10.
Love hearing stuff like that. And then and then did you go back then and get the influences, the funk influences that Dave Grohl had with Tony Thompson, etc.?
Well, it's weird because where I grew up was in Tolleson, which is on the west side, and mostly Hispanic. So I really listened to just like hip hop a lot when I was growing up. And then I heard Nirvana, and I was like, whoa. And it wasn't until I met Josh that I knew who Zeppelin was, but I just never really listened to him. And then, you know, Josh got me into a lot of classic rock, and so to answer your question, no, I didn't really do that. I grew up on hip hop, and then I took lessons for about 3 years, drum lessons, where I learned how to read music, and learned all the Latin, funk, blues, all this different kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of really helped me with what I do now. I still chart everything out when we're writing new songs and stuff like that. So I actually really studied. Where he's like, what the hell does this do?
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't know the names of some of the chords that I play.
He didn't even know what he's doing.
Well, this lovely thing here only plays power chords. I cannot play a regular chord to save my life. So yeah, it's all I know. Marty's our resident guitarist over here. So, but
that's a stretch.
On that note, I want to get into what was it like for you, Josh, to be going back and trading licks with Robbie Krieger on Roadhouse Blues?
Oh, that was a trip. That was, well, we met Robbie. Shit, I don't know, 2016 or 2017, something like that. We had the same booking agent at the same time, and so he was going out and doing some shows, and so we opened up for him. So his son was singing in the band and got sick the shows that we were with him, and so they asked me. I filled in on vocals and got to fill in for Jim Morrison on a couple Doors songs with Robbie, which blew my mind. But then,
Oh shit.
yeah, that was a trip. And we got a picture. Somebody got a picture from the audience. Lee Granda, our friend, took that thing, and so when we wound up in the studio at Robbie's place too, it was like being at rock and roll Disneyland for us, because we oh yeah, check it out.
Nice.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was
cool.
rad. So, but when we found out he was going to do it, and what's really funny about that too is Steven Tyler was supposed to come and play the harp on that for us, and then that's right before he had to go back in and take a little vacation from the world or whatever, however you want to put it. But it
Rock
was
and roll sabbatical. I think that's probably the best way to say that.
that's a good term right there.
Rock and roll. Sabbatical.
Professional Catholic. I told you I can rationalize anything.
But we're looking over at Robin, like, so what was funny about it is he's like, because he's the nicest human being in the world, and he said, how do you want to do this? He's like, you want to just go back? I said, you do whatever you want and just tell me what to do. And so he's like, well, how about we swap solos? And I was like, we'll just jam. And I'm like, okay, well, yes, please. And so he would just go off, and then he'd point at me. So I'd have to be like, you got to be on your toes, And then bam, and then I'd play, and then he'd know when I'm coming down, and he'd kick back in, and then the same thing. It just went back and forth. And what's really funny about that too, because like in his studio, like it's doors, everything, like old microphones and
Old mic, drum
yeah,
cases,
like, gym stuff, and all these
Xerix keyboards.
yeah, so all and like so it was like being at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where you got to touch everything and play it, and so I was so nervous that day, and
We all were.
Yeah, we all were. So I was like I was like, I'm not getting stoned today. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need the added paranoia to like to hinder me in any way. So we get in there and we run the track a couple of times. We run the song. And Robbie looks around, or he actually runs into Jordan.
On break.
Yeah, on break. He's like, let's take a break, and he goes up to Jordan, get the coffee machine, and he said, "Hey, Jordan, do you guys still smoke grass?" And then Jordan's like, "Yeah, we still smoke grass." He's like, "Well, maybe go out and smoke a joint, and then come back in and let's try another take." So Jordan comes running in like it's Christmas morning, and he's like, "Hey guys, Robbie Krieger told us to go smoke some grass. Let's go." So we're out in the parking lot chiefing it up, and we come back in. Boom, that's the take we used. And after we did that take, Robbie's like, "Hey, you guys got any more of that grass?" And we're like, "Oh yeah." So we burnt one with Robbie too. It was a trip.
That is like rock and roll fantasy camp.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and like the first time we were running through it, again, we're in his studio with all his gear and the Doors. That's how we got our name, by the way.
Yeah, we're big fans of the Doors forever.
And so, but I remember sitting there playing because Josh, we're all in a circle. I'm here playing, and Josh is across from me. And I just remember, because we know each other so well, we know what each other's thinking. And both of us had tears in our fucking
Yeah, it was like,
we're like, oh my God.
We both look like Puss in Boots, the cat with the big eyes and shit. Like, oh man.
It was amazing.
And then on that tip too is like, the bass tone was like, there's just something up with the bass, and it wasn't quite there yet. And so Robbie and his just, nice, soft, little, awesome Robbie Krieger voice is like, why don't we just use the bass sample we used on the original? And it was like, everybody's like, yeah, let's do that, And so
had 3 engineers come in and move everything around.
Boom.
Oh, I'm sure
because I think
Jordan
we
is
tracked it
geeked
it was 35 years from the time they first recorded that. Was the difference in time. So
So did you guys was there a time you had to pinch each other at some point to say, hey, wake up?
Oh yeah. That whole time it was a 2-day. First day was load-in rehearsal, then the next day was actual tracking. So both those days were phenomenal.
Yeah, we're just like, where are we at right now? What is happening? You know, it was insanity.
Yeah, such a nice guy.
And with the EPs coming up, and of course the one in March. So is it going to be? Will there be physical media with that one? Because it's the EP. Will there be CD? Anything on vinyl, and of course the streaming services as well?
Yeah,
all of the above.
Yeah, and because what's funny is back in I have a house in Missouri, and I'm in the studio back there, and my son, he's 6, and so he's got out of all the studio equipment and like sound, everything that we've got, there's no CD player in the house other than a SpongeBob karaoke machine. And so that's how we play our CDs, is through we got awesome speakers, all this stuff, and we listen to everything on a SpongeBob. And so we're still gonna make CDs, because now they're really kind of more of a merch item collect, but some people still play it, like me, on my SpongeBob karaoke machine. So yeah, we'll definitely make CDs too. Yeah.
Well, I love the double EP thing, because when you guys are creating music, albums of more or less have just gone out of fashion. With the streaming service, you just get there's a song at a time, and you guys have done that so well. Just put a song out there, let it stay in the consciousness of people. But what was it like as being creative with things, and just having the mentality of we make an album, we tour off of it. How has that changed for you guys in terms of making an album versus just like a stream of singles?
I don't know. I think because we still look at it as an album, as a collection of a body of work. But it has changed. Like you're saying, we put out Heaven and we put out Sugar, the last 2 singles, and then we just in between that and our record coming out, we did a cover of Post Malone's Circles that just came out not too long ago, and put a video out for that. So having the singles come out is cool, because it's a different kind of way of releasing things that these days people are doing. But we still gear up to have, because the idea is to have the first EP come out and the second EP come out, and it's called Passion and Blood. So one of them's called Passion, the other one's called Blood, and then we're going to make a vinyl to where one's on each side. So it's going to be a full album at the end of the day.
Yeah,
is the idea.
So it'll be 16 songs total, but we're dropping half early, and then the other probably in the fall.
Yeah,
late summer, fall, something like that.
And then we'll put out the CD and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot coming up.
Well, as you can see surrounding me here, there's a lot of vinyl. So I'll have 2 EPs, and you're saying 16 songs. For those in the streaming generation, there's this thing that they were called double albums way back when. And if it was 40 songs, 40 minutes for the 2 sides, that became a double album. And so for the CDs for years, Metallica was releasing double albums before they were claiming they were releasing double albums. So more music. And like Dana said, take my money. You can't go wrong with it. And be sure to check out the Black Moods. And you guys have so much merch over there. You got shorts, koozies, flasks, money clips at the Black Moods site. And also tell us really quickly about your Black Moods wine. How did that come about?
So there's a company here in Scottsdale called Suvino, and they make it. We have a red blend. We have a
white.
Yeah, we have a white wine named after songs. And just a friend of ours came up with the idea, hey, one of our friends makes wine. Why don't you slap your name on it? And we have.
Well, it started out with a different company, and they didn't have the vision the way that we had, because you don't just do something and then just put it out and see what happens. There's preparation that goes into it. There's marketing. In order to release it right.
A lot of tasting.
Yeah, a lot of wine tasting. And so we shifted and went with this other company, and they've been great. We just can't keep it on our shelves in the studio. We keep drinking this shit all the time.
That's really good too.
You've got to make sure that it is staying up to standards for your fans.
It's quality control.
Yeah.
Strictly.
Once
quality.
again, professional Catholic. You're welcome.
But then we have
Well, Josh, Chico, has been so much fun having you on. Dana, thank you so much. Dana Pappas, super fan. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to finally getting to party with Dana and her husband, the fellow live music fans, coming to the showroom, the Talking Stick Ballroom here in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's going to be March 14th and 15th coming up. Get your tickets. And Marty, before they come to California, come out here. You and Nick come out for the weekend. These are Friday, Saturday shows.
It'll be beautiful.
Yeah, the weather's great. No fires yet.
Marty lived here. That's how I met Marty. I met him here in Phoenix area. He knows what it's like here.
I love it. Uh-oh.
Well, we didn't have a chance to say a proper goodbye, but Josh and Chico, thanks for joining us. And so, Dan, you can act as their proxy, Dana.
On behalf of Josh and Chico, thanks for having us on. I'm sure they would say that they enjoyed it, and as the super fan, I would say that I did as well. Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys.
Oh, an absolute pleasure, and I'll keep you posted when this drops next week.
Sounds great. Cool. Thanks, guys.
And Marty, Jim, as always, thank you as well. And folks, you've been watching and/or listening to the All Over the Place podcast. And share, like, subscribe. I forgot to mention at the start. I wanted to jump right in with the show, but we this past week alone, we have grown a lot in the last few in 2025. It's all part of the plan, and you're making it possible, and we could not be more thankful. Thank you so much, and we'll be back real soon. We got a 3-for coming soon, folks. As always, thanks for watching and/or listening. Take care.
Thanks a bunch.
All over the place, where the fun sanity never ends.